Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and today I was inspired by those like tiny apartments you see like on social media where they're like, oh, like check out my New York City apartment, and it's like this super tiny space and they have like shared bathrooms and stuff like that. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of a dorm, except for like they usually have like a kitchen or something like that inside of each of the different apartments. Now, I've never actually lived in a big city. I've never lived in a micro apartment, that kind of thing. If you have, let me know, like, is this accurate? Is this what you experienced, or were your experiences different? But that's what I wanted to create, especially because I feel like in the apartments in San Myshuno, some of them are just really big. And like, I don't know, like sometimes it's just nice to have smaller spaces, or if you are someone that likes to be able to play with like different storylines all at the same time, it would be kind of cool to have something like this. So you could have, like, in this case, I have 5 micro apartments, so like 5 different like things going on, if that makes sense. So you can either have all 5 Sims in your like family and you can control all of them, and then you just kind of like lock the doors so they can only get to their specific apartment, if that makes sense. Or you can have like 1 or 2 Sims or something and they have like roommates and they're like renting out the other spaces, so you don't necessarily control the other Sims, but they are there and then you just have to kind of take care of it, kind of as if you're like the landlord of these micro apartments. But I figured this might be a good way to actually use up one of these. I don't even think this is necessarily a bigger apartment. It feels like it is rather large. It is the 19 Culpepper house, and it ends up being basically 2 bathrooms and like 5 micro apartments, which is kind of exciting. So you can have like 5 different personalities going on. And I did give each of the micro apartments their own personality. And of course, if you want to download this, this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery under Spice and Sprinkles. That is my user ID, and it is down in the description if you want to see it written out. And so I figured it'd just be something kind of fun to do and giving each of these little areas their own personality. I also had to get, you know, a little bit better with dealing with smaller spaces. So I feel like this was good training for like making tiny homes, which I feel like I've kind of been in the mood to do lately. So I feel like there's been more of those on the channel. So let me know if you were enjoying those, or if it's time that I do a bigger build, because I've just not been making bigger builds recently. But I do have another build planned out for this week that will be the Jungle Adventure rental home. So specifically just for Jungle Adventure, and something you can place in either, I mean, you could live in it or you could put it down as a rental and like go vacation there, but I thought that could be kind of fun. And so for this very first apartment, I kind of went with these like really rich orange, red, brown tones in here. And I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I've been using this a lot, this color scheme, but I've been so into this color scheme that, I mean, that's what I'm doing right now. And I do manage to squeeze in a little dining table, and I believe in this apartment I do put a laptop on the table as well. So I try to include some like skill building stuff and like a computer. Not all of them have a computer, some of them do, some of them don't. So you can obviously alter that if you'd like to, or take them out, or, you know, have like the Sims like share between their apartments. I mean, that's kind of totally up to you. And we do actually have a balcony as well, and I left it kind of where it was when I started with the apartment. And I actually put a lot of skill building items out on the balcony, so your Sim still has stuff they can do and like get their skills up, because just realistically, like when you're playing in The Sims, I feel like you need those kinds of items because your Sim's probably doing something, probably making money somehow. So I kind of just wanted to include that with it. And this lot is 94,000 simoleons, just in case you were curious. And of course, if you end up renting it out and stuff, that will be, you know, different depending on, you know, I don't know, whatever the game decides rent's going to be. I honestly have no idea how that actually works. I think I've only had a roommate like once in this game, but you know, in real life I had roommates for several years and they change just about every year. But anyways, I feel like this is such a cute little home. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of dorms too. Like you could almost use this probably as a dorm. I actually don't know what the like dorm housing requirements are. I believe that is actually a lot type in the game. I just don't know what is required of them, if that makes sense. So I don't actually know if this would qualify, but you could always pretend like maybe this is just a group of college students that are like living together in a dorm. So that could also be a really fun storyline. And in the hallway, I do this in a little bit, but I don't know why I'm going ahead and mentioning it now, but I do put in some laundry as well, because I figured that's kind of like a common space. Like they have like the common bathrooms and laundry for this. And to be honest, I don't know. I just kind of watched little videos and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cute idea. Like, and so that's what I made. So hopefully it's maybe a little accurate, although I feel like a lot of those like videos you see, they have really cool storage ideas, like stuff folding out of the walls and all that kind of stuff. And of course, I'm sure that's not every, you know, a micro apartment, but at least the ones they kind of show on social media. And I wish we could do some of that kind of stuff in The Sims, but obviously that's not really a thing in The Sims. So I do my best to kind of fit everything in here. And I do think all of them ended up having like, I don't know. I think I ended up splitting the stove and oven, I think, in almost all of them. I think there might be one or two of them that I didn't. And fun fact too, so you'll see, like, I'm working on the kitchen right now. There are 2 different stove tops you can use from the Dream Home Decorator kit. And yes, that one I just put right there, I thought that your Sims could cook on it or like, you know, prepare food on it. So you didn't necessarily need an open counter space, but they used that instead. But I did play test this and my Sim did not want to use that stovetop to cook on, but they did use the other one. So I end up swapping it out, so your Sim should be fine if they are trying to cook in the one that's up on the gallery. But I don't know, I just thought that was really interesting, like that one of them works like that, but one of them doesn't. Or maybe they both did it sometime, but they patched something out. I have no idea, to be honest. Like, I just thought that's, you know, that was true of both of the stovetops, but it is not. And for this one, I ended up using a bunk bed. I'm trying to remember, I think this may be the only one I use a bunk bed in another one as well. But I thought it'd be cool to kind of create this living space. And I think this is like the smaller of the apartments, I think. And so I kind of use this like wall of like closet space for this as well, and I thought that was really cute. And just putting a bunch of clutter everywhere, like I figured, you know, if they're living in such a small space, they probably have stuff literally everywhere, which is kind of fun. And if, you know, you have to work on this apartment, I think this is a TLC apartment, so you'll have to actually do some work. So I try to make it to where your Sims could still get to those items, and I didn't want to just like wall it off, if that makes sense, because I have done that before where I'm just like, you'll just have to knock down the wall if you have to work on it, it'll be fine. But I figured, I don't know, maybe in these kinds of apartments it would be more realistic just kind of have that stuff there. I don't know, you can let me know. But I really enjoyed using this like really pretty yellow, and I thought it looked so nice with that get together rug and with that high school years, oh my goodness, I just blanked on the word couch, the high school years couch. Oh my goodness. It's been one of those days. It's not even like that early or anything, so I don't know why I'm like tripping over my words and not remembering things, but that is a beautiful couch from the high school years pack. And I feel like I've not really used that swatch. No, I think that's a lie. I think I actually have. I think I have used that swatch before, but it was just so pretty, and I just felt like it looked just so nice in that space. And then this one is actually really fun. Honestly, I tried to find a bed that I don't think I've used before and kind of go with that. And so I found this really cool looking bed. And again, I think that is from high school years, and I used the like shag carpeting from the pastel pop kit and did it with that really pretty pink. And so the colors in this apartment are going to be that blue, like a light blue, the light pink, and purple. And I think it turned out so cute. And I will say that like I have play tested it, and I say that in in preparation for you seeing the rest of this space. It is a little bit like cramped. There's a lot going on here, but your Sim should be fine. And in this one, I did also include a laptop in here as well. I don't know. It's the one that came with, I think it was a pastel pop kit that like, I don't know, would you call it a laptop or was it more of a tablet? I don't know. It kind of looked more like a tablet to me, but nevertheless, it is in this in this one, so your Sim can actually work on their computer. And then kind of just putting in a small kitchen area over here, and I think it turned out really nicely, and your Sims can actually get to everything. And I think in all the other ones, the stovetop I used was that one that you can actually cook on. So again, like as a review, if I know I said this earlier, but just to be clear, you can actually cook on that stovetop. So your Sims can actually chop stuff up on it. They basically treat it like a counter, and then having the small, it basically is like a toaster oven on top of the mini fridge, which honestly, I have a toaster oven and I love it. I love it so much. I actually never had a toaster oven until, oh my goodness, I think it was my sophomore year of college. And no, it was my junior year of college, excuse me. And my roommate had one. And I was like, what is this? And like ever since then, I'm like, why do I even have a stove? I mean, that's a lie. I do really like baking, so I do need it. I do use my like oven for that. However, I just think it's such a nice like invention, especially for someone who doesn't like cook a ton, because really it's just either been me my whole life, like since I've been on my own, or with my husband. So it's like, I mean, you can cook food for 2 people in it, but I don't know why I'm just going off on so many tangents today. So I apologize for that, but but I guess that's just kind of the mood I'm in. And I don't know, I felt like this space would have a lot of things. I put those shelves, lots of clutter, just like, honestly, I really like this space. And I use that Parenthood dresser there, which I don't know if I've ever used that swatch. I know I've wanted to use that swatch because I knew it existed, but I feel like, one time when I was watching a speed build, I saw someone use it and I was like, what? Like, that is beautiful. Like, where has this been? And I mean, that was a long time ago now, but I am happy I was finally able to actually use it. And so I really do like the way this room came out. It's just so adorable. And it was actually really funny. I was working on this and my husband walked into my office and was was talking to me, and he was like, what is on the bed? And I was like, that's the mini fridge and the oven just like there while I was decorating. And he was just like, oh, okay. Because I was like wondering what that was like sitting there on the bed. But anyways, just adding a little bit of like just like pictures, just more clutter, like, and I don't know, this one in particular feels kind of like dorm-like, if that makes sense. I don't know, but it's super cute and I love it so much. Honestly, I probably would actually love to live here. And I think I've used these pink counters a surprising number of times, actually. Like, I was gonna say I haven't used them that often. I don't use that cabinet like type very often, but I feel like when I do, I use the pink swatch a lot. I don't know, maybe it's just I like the pink in that. I don't know, maybe I need to try to use those counters more. But I did end up adding this really cute communal like laundry area, and every unit has their own little basket. Obviously it won't work like that, but that was the idea I had. And I mean, I feel like realistically, like if you lived in New York City, like you probably just wouldn't have your laundry sitting out there, but we're just, it's The Sims, it's fine. And because I put in laundry and I was like, oh my gosh, they don't have a laundry basket. Like, what am I going to do? So they ended up in there because I didn't feel like trying to fit in laundry baskets in the units that I had already decorated. So here we are. We end up actually just putting them out in the hallway. And then for this apartment, I was thinking maybe a musician. And I mean, I say that like a very loose idea because I think the only like musician like object in this apartment is the guitar that I end up adding at the very end. But I really like the combination of that like blue and black here, and then pulling in, there's kind of like that yellow orange there on the bed. I pulled that in as well. And I don't really think that I've ever used this color combination before. So I don't know, but I think it turned out really nicely. And then kind of like mixing up the cabinets there with the top, I think looked kind of nice, to be honest. And then using a bunch of the tiny living furniture because it kind of, I don't know, it fit really well in this space. And these are really tiny living spaces, so it does kind of make sense for us to be using it. And I know this feels like a weird color combination, but I think it turned out, I think it all flows together in the end, if that makes sense. I really struggled with it when I was doing it. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm going to commit to doing this, and it'll work out, it'll make sense. And I think it finally did. But it took it a while. It definitely took it a minute for things to kind of, come together and look like they actually belong together, if that makes sense. And I feel like that's kind of like decorating like a maximalist apartment, is that same kind of thing where you're like putting stuff in and you're like, this will come together. I think this really will work. I just need to like trust that it will come together, because I feel like sometimes when I'm doing those kinds of apartments, it's like, oh my goodness, like I don't know what I'm doing, and then it just kind of falls into place. I don't know. You can let me know if you build in The Sims, or if you like actually like you're an interior designer or something, or if that's something you enjoy doing. Like, is it hard for you to do stuff like that? Like, or does it come really naturally to you? And I don't know, this apartment, like this last unit is actually, I think it may be the biggest one. It's a really big one considering the size of all the other ones. But I found that like poster thing on the wall earlier and I was like, oh, maybe this is like a sim that likes to be outdoors and likes hiking and stuff like that. And so that was my inspiration, which, fun fact, I think I actually end up getting rid of that. We don't keep that poster. But I don't know. I think that was just like the vibe I was going with. And I struggled a little bit, again, with this one, trying to like make it all come together. But I think it did in the end. And it just, I don't know. I struggled a lot with it. And I think it was just some of the colors that were in that poster because I end up pulling kind of a brightly colored rug as well, and I think it clashed a little bit. And so I think that was part of the problem I was having, was the rug I had didn't quite match the poster. So I think I ended up getting rid of that, and I used those beautiful Desert Luxe like curtains, and they just look so nice in here. I love them so much. And this is like a giant kitchen. Like, it's so big. I think it might be the biggest one, and I think the only one that has an actual like stove oven unit in it. And it was just funny when I was doing it. I was like, I don't know, I almost feel like I could like give this person their own bathroom or their own like actual walled off like bedroom space, but I decided to go with that like all-in-one like studio living space because I thought that would be really nice. And so just adding in, just like going back and forth with these appliances, it took me a while, and I do end up, I think, putting a different tile in here, maybe even a different wallpaper, because I think like the stone was bothering me a little bit. I guess technically they're bricks, but I think it was bothering me a little bit that it was a little plain maybe. And honestly, looking at it now, I feel like, I don't know, it kind of gives like a jail cell vibe, just like gray stone everywhere. I don't know. It also kind of looks like, I feel like my high school was just a bunch of like white cinder blocks. Maybe that's the maybe that's the vibe. I don't know. Maybe that's why I just didn't feel like it was working super well. And again, I don't know why. I just feel like I'm talking about random things today. And yeah, we end up swapping it out for that picture, which I think tied the colors together a lot better than that original poster that I had. And so being able to add a little more color in here, I think helped a lot and break up some of that stone with that wood paneling. And actually, okay, I totally forgot I swapped it out all together. But yeah, I think maybe it's because I was using like warmer tones in here, and then that like cooler brick just didn't like mesh well, you know what I mean? So I think that turned out really well there in the end, and is one of the bigger ones. And I did put little apartment mailboxes by every single one of the doors, although I don't really think that's gonna work properly. I mean, there's gonna be a mailbox in the like main hallway of the building that has like where the mail is going to go for the whole unit, if that makes sense. But so you should still get mail. I just don't really think those will be very functional, if that makes sense. But it just kind of felt like it would go together. And out here, I basically packed as many skills as I could. Like, I have a yoga mat, gardening, a chess table. I have a grill out here as well, and an easel. So just a lot of stuff out here. I figured the people that are living here, like, we have no room in our apartment, so we're just throwing it all out on the balcony, and we're all just going to like, you know, live happily together. And I feel like this is probably not realistic at all to real life. However, like for The Sims, that's just how we're going to use it. And it's going to work out, I feel like, and give your Sims kind of, you know, something to do. And hopefully if you have roommates and stuff, like they don't burn down the apartment with the grill and stuff like that, which I feel like is definitely a possibility in The Sims. And I end up adding these numbers in here on the wall, and I will say they're very cute, but when I went to upload it, turns out they're CC. I got them off the gallery, so I had to take them back out. So what's on the gallery does not have them. However, you can just look them up on the gallery if you would like to. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.
Saw you from across the